الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه وخليله، بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح للأمة، فوضع على المحجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها، ما زاغ عنها إلا هالك وما استمسك بها إلا مهتد، صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. وبعد. In the hadith reported by Ammar ibn Yasir, may Allah be pleased with him, his father and his mother Sumayya, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam says, "Kafa bil mawti wa'idha." Death is enough as an admonition. The same phrase, Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, had it inscribed on his ring. "Kafa bil mawti wa'idhan ya Umar." Death is an enough admonition, O Umar. Umar meant to remind himself all the time that death is imminent. Although that he was the Khalifa, although that he was one of the most powerful people at the time, death was still imminent, and there is no one that is bigger than death. My dear brothers and sisters, we often repeat phrases without giving them enough thought. However, when a calamity afflicts us, the same phrases are given value and are given relevance in our lives. Allah Azza wa Jal tells us, قُلْ إِنَّ الْمَوْتَ الَّذِي تَفِرُّونَ مِنْهُ فَإِنَّهُ مُلَاقِيكُمْ. Every single one of us does read this verse. Say, indeed, the death from which you flee, indeed it will meet you. Everyone reads it, but no one thinks that it's going to come to me. No one thinks that I'm going to meet death soon. Because, again, there is no value given to the phrase. There is no relevance given to it, especially if we're not sick, especially if we're strong, if we're young. But Allah Azza wa Jal also reminds us that this is the kind of mentality, the kind of thinking that no one should have, no one should espouse. Because death is so close to us, is closer to us than anyone might think. Therefore Allah Azza wa Jal says, وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ وَنَعْلَمُ مَا تُوَسْوِسُ بِهِ نَفْسُهُ وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. Allah Azza wa Jal says, and we have already created man and know what his soul whispers to him, and we are closer to him than his jugular vein. So death is so close. Even when we think that we will be able to escape it. Even when we think that we can somehow outmaneuver death. Death is going to reach, is going to afflict every single living soul, no matter where we try to hide, no matter how we try to escape it or outmaneuver it. Therefore Allah Azza wa Jal says, أَيْنَمَا تَكُونُوا يُدْرِكُكُمُ الْمَوْتُ وَلَوْ كُنْتُمْ فِي بُرُوجٍ مُشَيَّدَةٍ. Wherever you may be, death will overtake you, even if you should be within towers of lofty construction. Last Friday's massacre in Christchurch in New Zealand maybe was yet another reminder of the above mentioned meanings. The peaceful worshippers in the two mosques didn't go to the masajid, to their mosques, thinking that someone, a hateful person, will come and shoot them dead. None of them thought that instead of celebrating their Friday prayers on that day last week, last Jumu'ah, they will be grieving over their dead, over their injured, over their loss, over the lack of the sense of security now. No one thought so. But it did come to them. The same thing happened with last year in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where 11 Jewish worshippers were gunned down, killed with the cold blood in their synagogue when they were worshiping. The same thing happened in 2015 in Charleston, South Carolina, when 9 Christian African Americans were killed in their own church by yet another hateful person. None of them went to their places of worship thinking that they would be killed on that day. And to be honest with you, none of us here is contemplating that this could happen to us here as well. However, it did come to them. And it could come to us. And it doesn't have to be by way of murder. It could just happen by way of an accident, of a heart attack. You could choke on a pretzel. Anything could happen. But the cold reality that death is going to come. However, in the case of our brothers and sisters in Christchurch in New Zealand, their lives, their hopes, their families, their sons, their daughters, their fathers, their mothers, their brothers, their sisters were taken away by a hateful person. A man who embraces white supremacy. But white supremacy does not represent Christianity. It is as ISIS does not represent Islam. But as Muslims, as people of conscience, as people of decency, we call evil an evil. We call hate, hate. It doesn't matter in whose name it's being perpetrated. It doesn't matter under what banner it's being carried on. White supremacy is a form of bigotry and hate. It is as Islamophobia. It is as anti-Semitism. It is as Zionism. Zionism doesn't speak or represent Judaism. ISIS doesn't represent or speak for Islam. White supremacy doesn't represent or speak for Christianity. We have to call a spade, unlike our president here, who failed to acknowledge and recognize the identity of the victims, given that they're Muslims. Because he himself, a man who contributed to the rise of white supremacy. Although he denies that there is a rise in white supremacy. Although his own Homeland Security Department and his own FBI issued a report in 2018 stipulating that 71% of the hate crimes, of the terrorist attacks, the deadly ones, are carried by white supremacists for the past 16 years, or in the years between 2000 and 2016. Most of the victims today are being either gunned down, killed, injured by white supremacists. But the whole world will speak about the atrocities committed by some Muslims in the name of Islam who have no right to speak for Islam. But no one will talk about white supremacy as a form of bigotry. Again, whether it's carried by a Muslim or carried by a non-Muslim, it's irrelevant. It is irrelevant. Because again, they're all forms of bigotry and hate and aggression. Allah Azza wa Jal tells us in the Quran, "Man qatala nafsan bighayri nafs أو فساد في الأرض فكأنما قتل الناس جميعا ومن أحياها فكأنما أحيا الناس جميعا. Whoever kills a soul and lives for a soul or for corruption done in the land, it is as if he had slain mankind entirely. It doesn't say a Muslim or non-Muslims. Any soul that is slain for no justification, with no right, it is as if we have caused the death of the entire humanity. And whoever saves one, it is as if he had saved mankind entirely. So my dear brothers and sisters, when it comes to these calamities, to these atrocities, I would say, as the Prime Minister of New Zealand said, we are one. We are one because everyone is affected. We are one because when you have such terrible gun laws like the ones we have here in America, it does not endanger only Muslims or blacks. It endangers everyone. When people promote hateful ideologies, it affects everyone. In Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017, the woman who was killed by neo-Nazis was a white American, a female white American, who demonstrated against that hateful ideology. The same people, the same Nazis that our president referred to as having good people amongst them. In Norway 2017, where 77 people were killed, they were citizens of Norway, mostly white, mostly young, by a white supremacist. Mostly, if not all, were Christian. He just wanted to send a message, send a message on the ashes of the same people that he claimed that he's defending. It is the same message that ISIS sends every time when they kill Muslims, claiming that they want to awaken up this ummah by killing this ummah, killing people to awaken other people, or to awaken the same people by killing some of them. So it is evil regardless of the perpetrator. It is evil regardless of the victims. And we should stand up to these hateful ideologies. And it should be also a reminder that, you know, if you have long-term hopes and investments, keep part of your calculations that death could ruin everything for us, could change everything. So how many people are planning, okay, we're waiting for Ramadan, right? Now it's in a month and a few days, right? So we're waiting for Ramadan. So I'm not going to start praying until Ramadan comes. Okay, good. Let's wait until Ramadan comes. But what if death comes before it? I'm not going to start paying my zakah until Ramadan comes, or my sadaqah. I'm not going to stop drinking alcohol until Ramadan comes. It will be that, you know, shift in my life. But no one knows if we're going to make it until then. So no matter whatever plans do we have, my dear brothers and sisters, keep in mind that death is so close that it could come at the hands of a cold-blooded murderer, or it could come from the least thing that we could even consider as a cause of death. Let's keep this in mind. One last point that I want to make. I think everyone remembers the massacre that was committed in France. I think it was sometime in 2016, when the majority of the world leaders, including Arab and Muslim leaders, went to rally against extremism and terrorism. The same people who went to rally for the innocent people who were killed in France did not bother themselves to go and rally and to stand with the Muslims of New Zealand. These double standards are a testament to the wicked nature of these people. Because again, as the Quran teaches us, that we stand for any oppressed. We stand against any oppressor. There is no grievance that is more important or more painful than another. There is no soul that is more sacred than another. We as humans, we as people, we as mankind, we're honored by Allah. And our souls, our lives, our properties, our dignities are all made sacred by Allah Azza wa Jal, regardless of our religion, regardless of our color, regardless of where we come from. Inna akramakum inda Allahi atqakum. That's the true measurement. The closest to Allah is the one who has more piety. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم فاستغفروه. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. My dear brothers and sisters, I have said from this member before that with challenges come opportunities. Allah Azza wa Jal teaches us in the Quran, فَعَسَى أَن تَكْرَهُ شَيْئًا وَيَجْعَلَ اللَّهُ فِيهِ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. Perhaps you dislike a thing and Allah makes therein much good. What determines our success, my dear brothers and sisters, is the way we respond to challenges. Challenges are going to face us no matter what we do. Atrocities are going to afflict us no matter how much we try to avoid them. So let's not worry about the challenges, the obstacles, because these are facts of life. They are facts of life. Facts of life. But what we should worry more about is our response, the way we respond. If we respond successfully, then we will overcome the obstacles. If we fail to respond successfully, it is then when these calamities will take over and will dictate our course of life. This is not only in relation to major events as in the massacre in New Zealand, but also this is in relation to every detail in our lives. We always have to deliver this successful response. Whenever you're challenged with something, with poverty, with illness, with a problem in the family, we always have to look for the response, worry about the response. Grieving over the calamity is not going to change the situation. It will not. Sitting on our butts and just supplicating to Allah is not going to change anything, because Allah makes it clear. First, do your part. Do what you're supposed to do. So now it is the time to deliver this successful response. And out of this evil, there is some good that we see. Where white supremacy that have been for long enjoyed this privileged status, that no one questions, that these people just have an ideology that we differ with. Now the whole world see for itself that this is not a hateful ideology alone, this is a terrorist ideology as well. We see it, we see the good come out of evil with the dozens and scores of people who come to our masajid to learn about Islam and to send us a message that whoever done or committed these crimes, they don't speak for us. We should respond in kind and be as respectful, as concerned about everyone's safety. We've seen it in New Zealand when you see the Prime Minister attends the Jumu'ah prayer. When the Jumu'ah prayer is broadcasted to the whole nation, when policewomen are wearing hijab, when the Prime Minister herself wears the hijab, out of respect. We've seen it when everyone disavowed this terrorist. When women in New Zealand went to work, to shop, wearing hijab, non-Muslims. We've seen it here before in America. So out of evil, there is always something good that comes or emanates out of it. Let's focus on these positives. Let's focus on these opportunities. Let's focus on the way we understand our religion and the way we portray our religion, the way we communicate our religion. Quran does not talk about disbelievers as disbelievers. Quran does not attack people because of their religion, while it disagrees with them. It disagrees with them. It doesn't say go on a spray to kill people until they convert. That's a distorted reading of the Quran and fiqh. It's like people who, I remember Brother Saif once spoke about this, like some terms that we use, abid, when we talk about blacks, kuffar when we talk about the people of the book, although the Quran calls them the people of the book. I know some might say, oh, now so we're compromising our religion. Well, the problem is with this mentality. The problem with an embedded racism within many of us, which is cultural, not Islamic, and we don't want to face it. I fear not speaking about the hateful ideology being promoted by Donald Trump, and I fear not speaking about the hateful ideology that many of us harbor. My dear brothers and sisters, our religion is a religion of mercy that came to mankind. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a universal messenger. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he was a mercy to mankind. Let's look at these opportunities. Let's seize on these advantages, and let's speak truth to power, and let's speak truth to ourselves. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to have mercy on our martyred brothers and sisters in New Zealand. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to give a full and speedy recovery to all of the injured, to give patience to the afflicted families, and to bless the people of New Zealand, and to guide all of them to see the truth and to stand for the truth, and to guide us here to see the truth and to stand for the truth. Allahumma arham shuhada'ana jami'a, warham kull al-mazlumin, وانتقم من كل ظالم واغفر لنا وارحمنا. اللهم اجعلنا من أصوات الحق ومن أهل الحق ممن يقفون للحق. اللهم واجعلنا ممن لا يكونون للظالمين ظهيرا. No one, my brothers and sisters, should be a supporter of a tyrant, a supporter of oppression. Everyone should be a supporter of justice, of fairness. That's what we should be. اللهم لا تجعلنا للظالمين ظهيرا واجعلنا للحق يا الله شهداء قائمين به قائمين بالقسط وأنت يا أخي أقم الصلاة.